So we're at the top of the hour, so let's go ahead and kick off this session. I'll start. My name is Brandy Havens. I'm Assistant Professor and Program Chair of our Accounting Programs at the University of Arizona Global Campus. I'm joined by my co-host, Dr. Kelly Olson-Stewart, Professor and Department Head of our K-12 and Higher Education Professions. We're super excited to be here with you today. Welcome to Care in Action, How Advising and Finance Shape the Student Experience, where we're going to explore how meaningful collaboration between advising and finance transforms care from an intention to an everyday student experience. By examining how these departments intersect, we're going to learn how communication, shared responsibility, and aligned practices can reduce barriers, increase trust, and support student success. So let's meet some of our presenters. With us today, we have Lesley Lynch, UAGC Enrollment Services Manager, Adela Towle, UAGC Financial Services Manager, and Manny, Harim, UAGC Enrollment Specialist. So just a couple of housekeeping items before we kick things off, all right? So we're going to ask that all of our non-presenters remain on mute with videos off just while our presenters are presenting. After the presentation is done, we encourage everyone to come off mute and feel free to engage. Also, during the session, feel free to post your comments and questions in the chat. We're going to be gathering those throughout the session, and we'll be sure to have a little bit of time at the end for Q&A. So presenters, the floor is yours.
We are starting off this presentation here today, and she did miss Christine Hardy, VP Enrollment Management, is also joining us today for our session. So we'll get things going. Chris will go through and just have everybody introduce themselves. Christine, you want to get us started?
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Manny. And thanks for having me here today. What an honor to be asked to and join this group, this session of some very, very talented individuals who are going to speak about how we impact students in their journey here. But just to introduce myself, I'm Christine Hardy. I'm responsible for marketing, admission, enrollment operations, our partnership teams, the contact center. I support those who work alongside of our training effort. So, and I work with those who are responsible for our student-facing financial aid folks. And so I have a broad impact across the student experience. I'm very, very deeply focused on ensuring that we've got strong solutions in place to support and drive the student experience forward. So that's the lens I'll be talking about with you today.
And we got Lesley Lynch.
Great. Thank you, Manny. Hello, all. My name is Lesley Lynch. I am Military Enrollment Services Manager. Really looking forward to just speaking through the lens of what we do. We are the starting point of every student's journey into this university, and how we work closely with our students, with our team over in finance, to set up our students so that once they get to their classes, they feel good, they feel strong, and they feel confident, ready to begin. Happy to be here.
Adela.
Thank you. Thank you, Manny. Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Adela Towle. I'm one of the financial services managers within our finance team. I've been with the university for about 14 years now. And during that time, I've had the opportunity to work across admissions, student services, and now finance. So I have a well-rounded perspective and deep understanding of how each area contributes to the overall student journey, and have just to come really appreciate our approach and our commitment to supporting students at every stage.
Thank you, Adela. And hello, everyone. I'm Manny Harim. I currently serve as a military admission specialist, as well as the SBA Public Relations Officer here at UAGC. And I'm happy to be here. Let's get this started. Well, we wanted to start off our presentation today by just giving everyone an idea of get a chance to hear from some of our leadership and staff and from the advising teams regarding how we employ a student-first approach. So we'll start it off with Christine here. I hope I shared.
So excited to welcome you, Christine. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Over the past few years, your leadership has completely transformed our admissions department, not just in how we operate, but in how we care for our people and our students. You lead with vision, compassion, and purpose, and your impact is felt across every level of our organization. Christine, so I'm going to ask you, what empowers you to lead with a student-centered approach?
Thank you. Thank you first and foremost for all of those very, very kind words. That means the world to me. But really, if we're talking about a student-centered approach, that's what we're here to serve. We're here to serve students. And so if we're going to do it and we're going to do it right, then we need to know who it is, in fact, that we are here to serve. So I spend a lot of time, whether it's listening to calls or collecting feedback from those who do work alongside of students. We have the ability to collect feedback through our Voice of Student surveys to hear directly from students about what their experience is with us. But we can't think for a moment that we know exactly how to serve our students if we don't listen to them and provide them with the opportunity to tell us what they want from us. And so all of the work we do, the transformation, the investment in technology, the time, the effort, the energy we pour into ensuring that how we communicate with students and what we communicate with students, that's all knowing how that information will land or how that will change then their trajectory or experience with us. And so it's very important that we do that because we want them to have a seamless experience. We want our students to be able to anticipate and understand what next steps for them are going to look like so that they don't have to worry, because this isn't easy. Going to school and trying to balance all of the level of responsibility based on where they are today, in addition to adding school to their plate, that is hard. And if we are not doing our very best to ensure that we're providing solution and improving on systems and processes and workflows to better serve them and meet them where they're at, then we're not listening and we're not really keeping them at the center of who we are and why we're here.
That's amazing, Christine. So I'm going to ask you also, how do you convey that student approach to your department in admissions?
Well, I maybe have answered a little bit, but I try to lead with passion. I try to make sure that I show up in an authentic and very personalized way when I meet with my folks. I care deeply, deeply about my people. So I feel that if I model that behavior to my team and to those who work alongside of students, then I in turn believe that you will also then model that same behavior as you're working alongside of our students, so that they know that they are special, so that they know that they will be responded to, and so that our students know that the relationship that we are building with a student on the very front end of their experience with us is an experience that will carry through the rest of their journey with this institution. I say it often, we're not just here to start students at UAGC. We intend to ensure that we can help students see themselves all the way through graduation. And you have to do, and especially in a virtual landscape, a virtual space, you have to do that through that care, that level of support, and really ensuring that everybody here that student will interact with along the way will receive a consistent type of experience, no matter who they're talking with or engaging with, no matter what department, no matter how difficult the information might be that they're learning about. But that is very important for me to, one, model it and to help see that every person who works here understands the importance and significance in delivering that same candor and message.
I love that. Thank you so much, Christine. That's an incredible indication of the community of support that we have here at UAGC and for our students. Thank you so much for being here today, Christine. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, we'll start with Britton.
My role empowers me to serve as a trusted advocate for our students by fostering the culture of care. I enjoy communicating with our students in a clear, authentic manner, and ensuring the information I share is accurate and reliable. I advocate for them by acting in their best interests and providing guidance that supports informed decision-making rather than pressure. I ensure students understand their educational options and connect them with the appropriate university resources to protect their academic goals and overall well-being. I treat every student the way I want to be treated, with professionalism, empathy, and respect. Through transparent guidance and supportive engagement, I help our students take ownership of their educational journey while reinforcing trust in the university and the admissions process. That's what empowers me.
All right, and we'll go over to Adela Towle.
What empowers me as an admissions specialist at UAGC is knowing I get to be a part of someone's turning point. Every day I connect with working adults who are balancing careers, families, military service, and the unexpected turns of life. I don't just listen to their goals, I understand them, and I too feel like I'm walking a similar path. I myself, I'm a graduate student here at UAGC, and I understand what it's like, having to manage late nights, deadlines after long work days, and just having the determination it takes to keep going even when life is so full and so busy. And I feel that that life and lived experience allows me to show up with genuine empathy, patience, and encouragement for my students and not just there for guidance. So what truly empowers me is helping students recognize that their goals are achievable and that they don't have to navigate the journey alone. Being able to walk alongside someone as they take the next step forward is what gives my work meaning and purpose.
To me, a culture of care means showing up for our students with empathy, patience, and genuine understanding. As a financial services advisor and a former college student, I know that financial topics can be extremely stressful and personal, especially for students who are juggling multiple things at once, such as school, work, and normal life responsibilities. For me, a culture of care is taking the time to really listen to a student's situation, clearly explaining complex processes, and making sure they understand everything before a conversation is over. This helps to ensure that students feel confident in their decisions and they know where they stand. It's all about being approachable, dependable, and someone students feel comfortable reaching out to when they need help. When students know they are heard and supported, it removes a lot of barriers and it helps them to focus on their educational goals. That is why creating a culture of care isn't just an important part as my role as an advisor, it's how I choose to serve our students every day.
There you have it, folks. So thank you everyone that participated in our video submission. We appreciate that. So we'll get going here with Christine Hardy.
Right. Thank you very much. My gosh, if it isn't anything, it's absolutely clear that we have the right people here at UAGC supporting the students that want to progress and move forward in their education. But it's more. It's more than having great people and nice people and caring people. That's so important. It really is important. But really where I focus, because I trust my people, I focused on how do we translate the trust I have and the people we have here, those that serve our students and make this a meaningful experience. How can I build trust in the process? How can I build process in our workflows and the experience itself? So I had mentioned to you earlier, I'm responsible for quite a few different departments. And so what that allows me to do is really have a really good holistic experience of what it means to interact with marketing materials, our website. How does that then translate into ensuring that we have a very speedy reaction time to ensuring that we get in touch with students as quickly as they look or seeking more information? And then from there, how do we ensure that we can support students throughout their onboarding process so that we have then a smooth handoff to our academic advisors? There are so many different points of interaction throughout that experience alone. So whether it's interaction with how they're turning in documents, interaction with ensuring they can afford and pay for their education, those are the experiences that I tend to spend a lot of time on so that I can design for that seamless experience, so that I can improve our technology stack, so that I can understand what are the communications that are going out to our prospective students, and how can I then do a really good job building trust. And so if I were to think about what is care in action, I think the best way for me to sum it up would be to say care in action is trust plus access plus momentum. So we build trust through our people. You were just able to see some excerpts from our folks who build trust with our prospective students. Their mission, their language, everything about what they do and why they do it is absolutely aligned to student success. So how we communicate, how we listen, how we advise our prospective students so that we can help to ensure that they are making informed decisions about their educational journey, that is how we build trust. But if we don't ensure that the systems that are working right alongside of our people are trustworthy, then that's going to be a breakdown in the relationship with the student immediately before they even start. So ensuring that we're removing those unnecessary barriers, simplifying complexity, ensuring that our pathways are easier to understand and navigate so that there isn't confusion along the way. It really helps to ensure that we are building the digital experience alongside of the expectations of the student experience. Because quite honestly, if you think about our learners of today, they interact in every day, almost every moment of their day with some sort of technology. And so as active and viable users, they have expectations. And if we're not meeting their expectations and things all of a sudden become clunky or difficult or disconnected, that's going to break their trust. And it's going to lead into our last component, momentum. It's going to halt momentum, and it's going to prevent them from doing ultimately what they want to do, which is ensure that they can achieve their education, go on to higher levels of success, and ultimately obtain everything that they anticipate for themselves, for their families, and really what their goals and their dreams are for themselves. So if I were to think about care in action, that's exactly what it is. It's trust, it's creating access, and it's building momentum so that they're not just starting their education, but like I said before, they're completing their education. Thanks, Manny.
Thank you so much, Christine. And we'll take it right on over to Lesley Lynch.
Great, thank you. Hello, and thank you all for being here. So on the surface, admission can look very transactional. Applications, documents, system access, and yes, admission, we do all of those things. But when done right, when done with true care, admissions specialists have the opportunity to do so much more with our students. They move through those steps while also seeking to understand the emotional and practical needs students must navigate to succeed. Before a student logs into a classroom, before they submit an assignment, before they receive a grade, admissions is the starting point. And often in those first moments, students aren't just asking academic questions. They're asking something far more important. Can I really do this? Do I belong here? And for many of these students, their admission specialist is their first human connection to UAGC. And so that first conversation holds so much power. In just a few minutes, a specialist can turn uncertainty into confidence, can turn fear into momentum, and possibility into belief. Think about the typical UAG student. Maybe a few years out of school, maybe juggling work, family, and life, questioning whether college is still even an option. In those moments, it's essential that specialists don't rush straight to policies and requirements. It's important that we listen. Successful specialists see beyond the questions that their students are asking them. They understand why the student is asking. What information the student truly needs to feel secure in their decision. And most importantly, we seek to uncover what the student doesn't already know and reassure them that it's okay that you don't have it all figured out. We'll do it together. The tone we set in admissions can either open the door to engagement or quietly push students away. Those early conversations are where we change outcomes before challenges become barriers. When we identify gaps early, we can proactively connect students to UAGC's resources so that when they need the support, They know where to start instead of struggling in silence. This is where we help students set realistic academic plans, understand financial responsibilities, and prepare for the reality of being a student, not just the idea of it. When we slow down early, ask better questions, have honest conversations, we don't limit students, we set them up to win. And none of this works without alignment. Students don't see offices or departments. They see one university. When admission and financial services work together, students experience clarity instead of confusion, trust instead of hesitation. They feel supported by a system working with them, not against them. This is where care truly begins. Care isn't a reaction to struggle. Care starts the moment a student feels understood. And when admission specialists validate a concern, when they recognize life experience, when they say, you're not alone and we're ready for whatever comes next. Because honestly, students don't persist because everything goes smoothly. They persist because someone believed in them early, before that first assignment, before that first bill, before doubt sets in. So never underestimate the impact of that first conversation. We are not just guiding students through decisions. We are launching confidence, commitment, and courage to persist. And that changes everything. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Lesley.
Thank you,
Adela.
Lesley. Yeah, I'll dive right in. So, at the core of what we do is a strong culture of care, which means meeting our students where they are and just making sure they never feel they're navigating this process alone. Every student should have someone in their corner from that very first financial conversation all the way through enrollment and beyond. And we're here to do that. We're here to guide, support, and advocate for them. No matter their situation, our goal is to help them clearly understand their options and feel confident in the decisions that they're making. And sometimes that care shows up in really simple but powerful ways. I remember a student who recently came across to our department who was just feeling really uncertain. She had explored her program options with her admission specialist and was super excited. But once the conversation got to financial aid, everything kind of took a pause. She didn't understand what financial aid really meant, how it worked, what repayment would look like, and like many students, assumed that taking that next step meant immediate financial pressure. So, of course, she was hesitant. Not because she didn't want to move forward, but because she didn't feel confident in her options at that moment. So we partnered up with admissions. Admissions transferred her on over to one of our financial service representatives who took the time not just to explain the financial aid, but to listen, walk her through the timeline of the financial aid cycle, and helped her understand that there was space and time to plan. This financial service representative did a really amazing job working with admissions, met the student where she was at, and what started as confusion turned into clarity. And what once felt heavy now felt manageable. So by the end of that conversation, we were able to get that student back to admissions, and the student felt supported and informed and was able to proceed and submit her application and move forward with her journey. That's what culture of care looks like in action, in motion every day. A key part of that, of delivering that type of experience, is how closely we collaborate with our admission partners. By staying aligned and working together early in the process, we're able to create a more consistent, student-centered experience. We understand that finance can feel overwhelming, which is why we're so committed to guiding our students through this process in a way that just feels simple and clear and manageable. As we look ahead, we remain focused on evolving with intention, adapting our processes, our tools, and continuing to train. At the end of the day, everything we do comes back to our students. Our culture of care isn't static. It grows as the needs of our students grow, and which will shape how our teams operate every day. But thank you, and I hand this over to Manny.
Thank you so much, Adela.
Yeah.
All right. Now, in admissions, like Lesley mentioned earlier, we often have one of the very first conversations a student ever has with the university. And what I've learned is that students don't experience admissions and finance and separate departments. They experience one university. So the way we collaborate behind the scenes directly shapes how supported they feel from the very beginning. Now, and I have on here that first point there, from a student's perspective, their journey isn't divided into offices or processes. It's one conversation, one experience, one relationship with UAGC. So when admission and finance are aligned, students don't feel like they're being handed off, if you will. They feel guided. And that shift alone reduces confusion. It builds trust faster. It helps students stay confident in their decision to enroll. And especially for military affiliated students, clarity and coordination make a huge difference because many of them are already navigating very complex transitions in their own lives. Now, another piece of this work is ethical leadership. So students can tell when they're being supported with empathy and transparency. And a lot of our advising teams here at UAGC can attest to that. But when we really take the time to explain options clearly, listen carefully, and collaborate across teams instead of working in silos, students feel respected, they feel empowered rather than just overwhelmed. And that sense of trust becomes the foundation for persistence and success later in their journey. Now, big theme in this year's Culture of Care Summit is collaboration again. So something I've seen consistently is that collaboration behind the scenes creates confidence on the front lines. So when our departments, when admission, when finance communicates well together, along with other departments and teams, students don't have to repeat their story multiple times or guess what their next step should be. So instead, they feel like there's a team walking alongside them, and that's really what care and action looks like. So it's not just intention, it's coordination as well. Now, at the end of the day, care becomes real for students in the conversations that they have with us every day. And when our different departments work together intentionally, we help students feel seen, supported, confident from their very first step at UAGC. Thank you, guys. All right. Now, we also wanted to open up the floor to any questions that we have. Feel free. We'll check and see if we have any questions in the chat as well.
Lots of kudos to the admissions team, and hearing your perspective and how you provide care for students, I think is really helpful. I can speak as a faculty member. I love hearing from your voices as well, because we sit in the classroom and don't know necessarily all of the magic that happens behind the scene. Yep, lots of kudos for you. I don't necessarily see any additional questions, and we are right at time, so I will turn it back over to Brandy.
Thank you, Dr. Olson.
Oops, you're on mute, Dr. Havens.
Sorry, classic error, guys. Sorry about that. Thank you so much to all of our presenters today, Christine, Manny, Lesley, and Adela. Thank you so much. This concludes our session of Care in Action, How Advising and Finance Shape the Student Experience. So big thank you to our attendees as well. We encourage you to go back to the UAGC Culture Care Summit website to view and attend other sessions. Don't forget to vote for your favorite sessions. Those links are available in the chat and also available on the Summit website. Make your vote count. On behalf of the University of Arizona Global Campus, thank you for attending and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thanks, guys.